You're watching Prevent-A-Thon 4, where we are raising money for little warriors. I am your host, Nick RP Green. This is my last run as host, so let's make it a good one. Now, for Backpack Hero, this triple finish category run, we have now closed the first of the 3 costume bid wars, but there's still 2 more open because those characters aren't coming up until a little bit later into the run. So if you'd still like to get a bid in for the crate costume or the satchel costume, then get your bids in now. But to get Backpack Hero started, we go over to TrainerAnade, and the floor is yours.
Thank you so much, Nick. So yeah, this is Backpack Hero, and I am TrainerAnade. This is a roguelike inventory management deck builder, kind of. There is so much RNG. It's basically pure RNG for the most part, but hopefully RNG will be kind to us. Really quick before we start, I just want to say, so these are the costumes. Now, they're very small here. Don't worry, when we pick a costume, it'll be bigger, it'll be more obvious, but you only have a little bit of time before we get into this is Crate, our little robot friend, and this is Satchel, our little bird friend. If you want to see something besides the default costumes, you better get those donos in. Okay, but we want to get started here. I don't want to take too long, just in case the RNG doesn't like me. I believe we closed that bid war for purse, costume, and the result was Ninja.
That is correct. Ninja was indeed the winner.
Perfect. Ninja's also my favorite costume, so it works for me. Now, I just want to say I do have a commentator with me because I am going to be focused for a lot of the run. So Aria is going to be doing a lot of the talking for this run.
Yes, that's me. I have almost 300 hours in this game as well. I have a speed run in this category. It is not as good, not competitive compared to nowadays, but I be able to provide the commentary for exactly what everything's going on.
Alright, but let's go ahead, let's get into it, then we can explain more and talk about, we have our own little donation thing going on and all of that. But let's get into it. First, we are going to start triple finish in 3, 2, 1, go.
So, as I said, it is a roguelike inventory management game. As you see, we're putting the things in our backpack. The position matters somewhat. Some items more than others, but we always start with the same 3x3 backpack with those 3 items. And the goal is to get through 9 floors of the dungeon, 1 floor, 1 fight at a time, right? Just like in other inventory roguelike games, like Slay the Spire, the intentions of the enemy are shown above their heads, and it's your job to manage what they're doing so that you are going to survive each fight. With 2 main types of mechanics, 2 types of action. You have attacks and block, where using the sword adds some take damage to the enemy, whereas using the shield adds block. We're going to be looking for specific items that we get throughout the fight. Every fight we get some XP. When we get to the level, high enough level, we will get to increase the size of the backpack, as we have done twice now. And we also will have this, we get a certain number of items. I think it's like 8, and you can choose 3 of them. There are these events that come up. Some of them are quicker than others. We'll check most of the events, any that are not too far out of the way at least, but we won't always necessarily go to them because they take time. That guy, you trade 1 weapon, and you trade 1 item of a certain type, and then you get 3 of that item. And so this time we traded the sword that we started with.
No, we actually traded a wand.
Oh, we traded a wand? Okay. We traded a wand that is a weapon, and we got 3 new weapons, including one of this weapon, this blessed sword that we got, which is probably going to end up being our sword for the run. Yeah. What we're doing here is just we're selling items to the shopkeep. He can take 3 items per floor.
Okay, I mean,
So you take 3 items from per floor, and the reason why we need the gold is we're going to be using the forge, which will allow us to get specific upgrades to make the run a little bit more safe and a little more quicker. We'll be looking for 2 or 3 different types of things from the forge. We'll get into that when we find them. If we find any of them, hopefully we will. But as you can see, we are trying to minimize the amount of encounters we do. That's one of the main strategies of the speedrun, besides just game knowledge, is just getting through these floors as quickly as possible, taking as minimum number of encounters, which does leave us a little bit under-leveled and underpowered than what they expect, and that's where some of the risk comes in. So we are on floor 3, which is the first of the bosses. Every 3 floors there's a boss. There's 2 choices per boss. This little bee is one of the easier ones, I would think, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Versus the other floor 3 boss. And the bee queen will summon new bees every turn. The nice thing about bee summons is that summons in general, you don't have to defeat them if you don't want to. However, if you ignore them, they will do their damage, they do their attacks. So it's kind of that balance of, do I want to spend the time to attack it, or do I want to spend the time to just do damage? It's one of that balances of trying to minimize the amount of damage you take for each turn. What this little, the things we have, that honey, is something called a hazard. These hazards are things that some of the enemies will spawn as their attack, and they get placed over the items and they do something bad. The honey is one of the easier ones because all it doesn't do anything except block items, and items underneath it you can't use if it is completely blocked by a hazard, and that honey would just kind of block usage of it, and if it had placed it over an item, it would have anchored it in spot, which means we couldn't move it going forward, which is potentially bad. Luckily we had a space to put it that didn't apply. So one thing we are looking for, we haven't found yet, is we're looking for some armor.
I mean, that's kind of technically armor, but...
Yeah. Well, we just found some armor. Armor is good because it is an item that every turn it will provide block for you. So that way we don't have to spend actions, because we get 3 energy per turn. We don't have to spend that action to use the shield. We just get the block, and that will help us, survive a little bit longer without having to, as things do more and more damage to us. So we are hoping to find more armor pieces. This life vest is not a great one. Doesn't provide that much armor. It's not going to prevent us from needing to use the shield. So we are. This is one of the reasons why we are doing a special one. That there's a chance we might die from this fight. It seems likely. For every Anade and I have decided that for every death that this happens, we will donate. What was it? $10?
Yeah.
$10 per death. And if the run just can't succeed at all, like if it gets to the point where we have to, restart from scratch, we will donate. What was it? $25. We're hoping that won't happen, but the $25 is our apology to the event for taking extra time. Yeah. So
That's
you can take.
That's such a That's such a wholesome cause.
Yes.
Yes.
So I think we're in a slight break right now. If there's any announcements that are worth you want to talk about, Nick?
I do indeed. We have had another incentive that has been met. The Hug the Final Boss
Nice.
incentive has been met. That is for one of the runs that is coming up. I will work out which run that was for. But that has been met thanks to a $20 donation from Cubs Rule 21. There was no comment, but thank you, Cubs Rule, for that $20 to meet that incentive. Keep your donations coming in. Don't forget, we've still got this active bid war for the different costumes, so make sure you get those in before those characters come up.
Yeah.
Yes. So, So while this was happening, we got a new shield. The shield is better for two reasons. One, it provides bonuses. As you see, this is the first item where really position matters, where it provides an additional block for every armor adjacent to it. So that's, making that life vest a little bit better. And also it is smaller. And as you can imagine, especially because we are under leveling for things.
Yes.
We are size matters, right? but smaller is better. If it does. So why TrainerAnade was happy is we finally in the forge we found one of the things we are very much looking for, which is one of the forge slots we're looking for, which is rage. Rage is a status effect that gets placed on purse, and for every rage value you have, that increases the damage you do for every attack you do by your rage value. So normally that sword does 7 damage per attack. We currently have 13 rage, which means it does 20 damage. And what we do is every time we use that sword, we get rage. I think we get 2 rage because we're able to add 2 different forges to it. That's one of the reasons that sword is so nice, is it has 2 different forge slots. Each item in the game can have a certain number of forge slots, and that provides the amount of things that it can, the amount of times it can be forged. The sword I think has 2.
This one has 3.
It has 3? Okay. We just didn't have enough money to add that third one.
Yeah.
So it is really nice. We're adding 2 rage per usage, and since we're using it 3 times per turn, that's a really significant boost to our damage output, which means we will get things done quicker. The nice thing about this is also, adding all this rage is going to make us help us deal with some of the scaling damage problems that a lot of these enemies have, where we're scaling block and scaling damage. So we can get things done quickly. If we have an enemy that summons things, we can sometimes, if we have enough rage, it takes less turns to defeat the summons. We can get things done quicker. Again, we move quicker and everything. It's good. Rage is really one of the best forge slots to get, especially when we get 2 of them. Actually, we can probably get a 3rd one now.
Yeah.
So we have one thing about the status effects. This is true of all status effects. Is that every turn, your status effect will decrease by 1 value. So, we getting the turn 1, we get that 6 rage from using the sword. Well, now 9 rage from using the sword 3 times. It'll be increased to 8 on turn 2, and then we go back. Hopefully, we can be able to bring it back up to 3 more. So it's important that whenever you can get a status effect, you can get a way that it adds twice. You can add 2 of them per turn, so at least it will increase per turn. Which is why I'm doing the commentation, is because there's a lot of thinking about exactly where things need to go in the backpack. That's one of the, especially since we have a very low level of armor. We still have only 6 armor per turn, which is not ideal. So we are looking to, again, we're hoping to find something better to increase that value for us. Or some way to mitigate the damage that we take, one or the other.
Yes.
Oh, we got the helmet. Yeah. So, helmet is, the helmet item is interesting because it is one of the few items that is one of the items that were positioned in the backpack itself rather than relative to other items is important. The helmets need to go on the top of the backpack. Oh, not need to, but they do more effective on the top of the backpack, and they provide bonuses for every item underneath it. In this case, so that is 4. Because at the top there it gives 4 damage, 4 health, 4 armor every turn, plus the extra bonus from the shield as well. So we're seeing a little bit better, which is why this game is very RNG. Right? Like that, we were in dire straits after this last.
Yeah.
After 4-3, but we seem to be getting a little bit more secure at this point, and why we keep trying to move through these encounters quickly. We're at the floor 6 already. We're at the Badger boss, which made quick work of that Badger.
I don't have healing.
You don't have heal.
So
what these things, I didn't talk about it at 4-3, but at the end after every boss you get
of course, now I have healing.
you get a relic. Those relics are unique items that are only found from the boss chests, from the boss defeat, and they frequently have some sort of positive and some sort of negative drawback that requires you to kind of change your build, or can optimize a build. The one that we got before was not very useful, and this one is also not very useful. We'll probably end up selling both of them, selling this as well. That one provides extra energy for empty backpack spots. Because the backpack is completely full and smaller than it should be, it's not very useful for us. It doesn't provide any benefit to us. The one that I almost wanted to get was one that will basically act as mini rage, but it won't. Was that the energy?
Yeah, it's energy.
Okay. So act as mini rage, but it would make you take damage. And since we didn't have healing, that was a risky thing to do. Unfortunately, we got the healing right afterwards, so we could have taken it.
Oh well.
But we just got the other type of forge slot that we're looking for in this run. It is +1 energy. So instead of getting 1 energy, 3 energy per turn, now we're getting 4. Obviously, more energy per turn means you're doing more per turn, getting more rage, and before enemies can do their things, it's just better, right? Something we very much look forward to.
I think I'm just gonna run with what we have.
Yeah, I think that is, yeah. So we are kind of just, at this point, our items are at a good spot. We're just gonna, it's not as, we obviously could get better, but we're running out of space in the backpack, and the things we have in the backpack are pretty good.
So now I'm basically just trying to book it for floor 9.
Yeah. Floor 9 is when we will be closing the bid. When we get to floor 9, we'll be closing the bid war. So if you have any last minute donations, now's the time to do it.
Yep.
But I think we're just going to be finishing up this thing. So I think another quick time for more announcements.
Absolutely. I'm pleased to say that we have opened up a new incentive and a new bid war. So for your incentive, if you'd like to see the Amplitude Rhythm Showcase for the to do the VGM and Friends Encore set list, then we're going to need to see $50 towards that before the end of the Amplitude Rhythm Showcase. But we've also got a bid war for Little Gator's Name, which is a run coming up very, very soon. So get on over to that donation page, check out all of the current incentives, and make sure that you select one of them when you get your donation in.
Thank you. Yes. So one thing you might have noticed while we were getting that donation is we had a chest. We tend to like chests because chests are free equipment. They're very quick to open the chest and you get equipment. Unfortunately, sometimes they're mimics, and that there was actually a crab living in that crate, and then when we tried to open it, it attacked us. So we had to do a quick fight. Obviously, we still get the XP for that, but it does make it slower. It's one of the risks of doing the crates, but we are hopeful that the rarity of those mimic crabs are pretty low. So the risk is usually worth it. Unfortunately, it doesn't always pan out.
Yeah. To be fair, we normally don't have like unlocked uncursed chests at like floor 8. So I probably should have been more suspicious, but that's what I get.
Yeah. So yeah, so we are. It was the unfortunate reality of the dealing with the crate there. Luckily, we were able to kind of deal with it not too badly, and we'll be getting through these final fights. Hopefully, getting a little bit of healing from our regen wand.
Yeah, I purposefully am
stalling a little bit.
Yeah, so I can get just a little bit of healing before
the final fight.
Yeah.
Yeah. So.
I'll take it, sure.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Why?
This is those sleeping enemies are something that we haven't talked about yet. Once you get into their sight, they are now...
Dang it! Okay, well...
We are now going to be fighting them, because they will move towards you, and now we have to do 2 fights back to back, because they are both on that one spot. So we'll be fighting this elite. The elite is an encounter that is slightly harder than any other encounter. Sometimes that means they have unique enemies, sometimes that means there's a bigger group of people. In this case, it's a little bit of both. That turtle only shows up in the elite in this biome, and he does, you know, a lot of block, right? He turtles up. After you do 50 damage to him, he gets 50 block immediately. So he turtles up, so that just kind of stalls again, why it takes a little bit. He's not incredibly dangerous because he's mostly a defense thing, but it is definitely something that we keep in mind as we try to avoid these fights, just because they end up taking some time for us. They do give more XP, but you know, we don't really care about that. We're not going to get, at this point, we're not going to get another level anyway, so XP is meaningless.
And because it was on top of another fight,
we immediately fight.
Yep.
So, the little sword we got there is a really good sword, especially when we have rage, because it attacks twice, and it costs 0 energy to use. So we can get a bunch of rage from the blessed sword, and then finish things off with that double, you know, attack. With the rage bonus will apply to that thing as well, you know, and apply it twice because each attack counts as a separate attack. So it's a very nice one that we found at the end of the fight. Hopefully it'll make this final fight go a little bit better.
Sure, why not?
Yeah. So those blue
useful.
those blue stones are mana stones. Mana is another resource in the game that can be used to do items. Items will take mana instead. Those will be... But they don't refresh at the beginning of every turn. They just kind of refresh at the beginning of every combat. But we're on floor 9, so the bid war should be closed.
Yep.
And we're at the final boss. So there were 2 options for the boss. We got lucky here. This was the easier of the 2 bosses. The one is being nice to us, you know, was mean at the beginning, but it's been nice now. This is the Grand Master. On turn 2, he summons 3 dudes that are annoying, but they just they exist. They do some burn to us, but I think we're immune to burn, right?
We are. Yes.
Yes. So we have the gi there that makes us immune to burn. So this is really like not a big deal for us at all. Yep. And then he just kind of sits around until he gets to 50% health. And only then does he realize that we're kind of serious. But because of our getting 3 rage for every usage of that thing, before you even woke up, we're done.
Yep, so we're going to need the winner of the bid war for crate.
Yes.
That would be standard gold.
Alright. That's the quick one.
Yeah, it's quick because...
I mean, like, technically it doesn't change that much, but...
It's quick because it's one extra click.
Yeah.
That we have to think about.
Alright, so we're on to crate. We're on to our second character for triple finish.
Yes. Crate is a little robot mouse, and unlike the other characters, Crate, you don't use your items in the middle of combat. You arrange your items in this thing, and then there's this charge that gets thrown from that launcher, and hitting any sort of like these components that might change the position of the path, and it just uses the weapons it hits in the pathway. So because we have 3 energy, it's hitting 3 items that each use 1 energy, and so we are using all the energy. Any energy that we don't use by the end of as it gets out of the backpack is lost. So we want to make sure that we're using everything. What we're going to be looking for specifically with Crate is ability to create a circle. Because if we create a circle, then we can have less weapons. We really won't, just like with our backpack, with Purse Run, we do only want 1 weapon. Then we don't have to worry about upgrading it. We don't have to worry about having lots of different options. So we want that 1 weapon. So we create a circle so that we can get that 1 weapon in a nice, easy way to manage it. The other thing different about Crate is when you get leveled up, instead of being able to choose exactly where the items go, you have to, you're placing the items in one space at a time. Like in these Tetronimals, you create Tetris pieces, and you create contiguous rooms of what the like continuous spaces, so you can make this, and you know, the even the backpack shape now is randomized. If the game didn't have enough randomization already, this is just one more way to make it harder for us. So we are very close to getting that circle. We just have one more piece to go, which will be hopeful. So I don't think I finished the mana description because we were distracted by the boss. But yeah, we don't have anything that uses mana at this point. But mana is nice because, you know, it means you can do more per turn, right? There are items that you can find that will recharge your mana in the middle of the fight. So we keep a lot of mana stones for the purposes of maybe getting those items. So we got the backpack inside of our backpack. It's not a very useful item for the speedrun. It is, but the nice thing about it is that it takes up one space and it has, I think, 3 or 4 spaces inside of it.
It has 9.
9? Yeah, 3x3. Yeah, 3x3. So it's good for saving big items that are worth a lot to sell, and just so you have those. It's a very good item for making money. Not much use otherwise.
Yeah.
But
for getting on floor 2, that's really nice.
yes, because we don't have a lot of backpack space, and some items are very big. The way selling works is items are worth a different amount based on their rarity. Items have rarity in addition to size. In general, a bigger item tends to be better compared to the rarity of the item. So like you have rarer items plus bigger items tend to have tend to be better from a quality perspective. But like the only thing that matters for sale price is the rarity. So if you're looking for items just for purposes of selling, a 1 rarity item is better than a 1 rare item. A 1 space rare item is better than a 4 space rare item.
The energy.
Oh, cool. There was energy in this one?
Yeah. Taking the extra time.
That you won't be using it yet, though.
Yeah, I know, but
it's still worth it.
Yeah, it is.
Well, because the chrono pieces are pretty common of component pieces, so hopefully we will get an extra. So you'll see every time we'll be creating 4 energy.
But now we're gonna waste 1.
We're gonna waste 1 per turn, unfortunately, but we are going to hopefully make up for it by just, you know, getting all of these things quickly, getting through this fight, and we'll get hopefully we will get a corner piece not too long after this.
There is a chest here, so maybe.
Yeah. So that was the other of the bosses. In the 4-3 boss, the chicken, he has an effect that every time you do damage to him, he gets 1 rage, which is obviously not great. It means the longer we do that fight, the more dangerous he is. Ooh. Yeah, that's
for now.
Yeah. So that axe is nice because it will just use up all of the remaining energy for us. So any energy we have created up until that point, it'll just use it and it'll take that damage multiple times. It doesn't apply. It doesn't work with like a rage thing. It still only will apply the rage once per usage, even though it like will do multiple attacks. But it does help us so that we were not wasting any extra energy that we could have gotten.
Yeah.
So it's one of those it's kind of a nice holder item. It's not as good as other weapons, but it does give us what we need sometimes. So, and now we have, as we said, we got that last corner piece, and so we can just, yeah. So we now are in a circle, so we will be able to make sure we use all the energy, including that extra energy we're getting from the food that we're going to be hitting here. So at this point, our backpack is basically where we want it to be.
Yeah.
and so we have. We want a better weapon because the short sword does not have any forge slots on it.
Yeah.
So even if we found a nice, even if we found the rage bonus, that wouldn't help us. But and we don't have. Hopefully, we can get some weapon. Or we could use this guy. This little mole is one of the special events.
He's a badger.
Badger, yes. This badger. The badger adds a forge slot to a weapon. So now we have a forge slot on the sword. Hopefully we can find a rage to put on it.
Yeah. Okay. Works for me.
That weapon, that item is just, it adds 1 energy. Every time it's used, it adds 1 energy. It can only be used twice per turn. Because there's a mechanic that Crate has called Heat, which is now the first time we've seen it. As you see, every time you're using it, it says Overheat. Each item that utilizes Heat mechanic has a certain heat maximum, and they will either do something when they reach max heat, like the little connector with the silver things around it. That'll add block when it gets to max heat, and the booster, which will do things until it reaches max heat, and that will be adding 1 energy. So there's so many helmets.
Sure, why not? we need more helmets, right, chat?
Yeah, this Crate apparently has 5 heads. Don't ask me how he's wearing 5 helmets. Don't think about it too hard. But it is providing lots of armor to us. So we're getting 26 armor just every turn just for existing, which is very convenient for us. Even before we end up using the shield and the component thing. So most encounters will do less than 49 block per turn, which makes us much more safe than the last time. A little bit slower because we have to kind of go around.
Yeah.
But not the end of the world.
So while we're waiting, kind of slowly going through, this is a great time for donations or messages or anything you want to share. What is coming up?
Absolutely. Of course, we still have the bid war open for the final costume of this run for Satchel, and that is currently being led by the standard Robin costume. So if you'd like to see that change to the Purple Scientist or the Older Adventurer, make sure you get your donation in for that very, very soon, because that will be closing as soon as Crate reaches floor 9. And of course, as I said earlier, we do now also have a bid war open for Little Gator's name. You can pick your name, 15 character max. So if you've got a cute little name or a cool little name or whatever little name you like, as long as it's at least under 15 characters, get that donation in. Little Gator is coming up after the next run.
After Cavern
So
of
make sure you get
Dreams.
those in
Yeah.
ASAP.
Thank you.
Yeah. So we were lucky. We did find that the block, the rage thing.
Yes, so I have rage now.
Oh, I noticed you're no longer getting a benefit from the weapon core thing.
What weapon core? Oh, whoops! Thank you.
So that core, that cell, what it does is when a weapon is used, it then triggers and adds another charge, but it has to be adjacent weapon. And when we move the backpack around, at some point that stopped getting triggered.
Yeah, unfortunately I feel like that is the biggest slowdown with Crate, is that Crate requires a lot of thinking. Now obviously, like this kind of, if we're setting up a circle, that also takes more time, but like there's so much more thinking with Crate than with a lot of the other characters.
And there's less time to fix those mistakes.
Yeah.
There is that microchip that we have that will allow you to rearrange your backpack in the middle of a fight, but obviously that still takes more time. So we finally now have, we've had these bricks for a while. They weren't doing anything for us. Bricks, these are a special type of item called a structure, and the standard bricks, so the ones with common, they provide block for every adjacent structure. So when there's only one, it doesn't do anything at all, right? It just exists. They provide no block benefit at all. When you have two of them, though, they're each adding one block, which isn't much. It's still not benefit. The reason why we keep them around is because there is another forge bonus that provides haste to structures. Haste is the equivalent to rage for block, for armor. So it will increase the value of all of the armor you get by your haste value. And now that we have two, it becomes even more useful because we'll get the two haste on your turn, and then it will, at the end of your turn, it will go down by one, and then, you'll go to 3 the next round, and it will actually increase. If you only have one of them, it doesn't increase. It kind of stays at that one, which is slightly beneficial, but not as beneficial as having two. Yeah.
Alright.
So this relic that we just picked up, this is, it will allow us to keep, normally, any sort of armor, any sort of block you get, the end of your turn is completely wasted. If you have 100 block and it's, that doesn't get beaten up, it's just got, okay. They're just really being generous to us today.
Yep.
Getting another one of the boosters. And so we have now a third, so now we're getting an additional 2 energy per turn. With the rage, we are sitting pretty safe right now.
Yeah. Unfortunately, more energy means it's a little bit slower, so you have to watch this circle happen more often, but it's also in some ways faster because we're getting that rage quicker. So it has pluses and minuses.
Yeah.
One thing we haven't talked about yet is, so you'll have noticed some of these items are the same items that Purse had, but all 5, so there are 5 characters, triple finish, you play 3 of the characters. All 5 characters are very different from each other. And the one of the things with triple finish is that you can pick any 3 of the 5 characters. Oh, yeah, haste to structure. I'll do it. It's just extra super boost our armor. So like I run with Purse, Crate, and Satchel because they're my 3 most consistent. Oh, really? Well, we're gonna be chased this whole time.
We're hoping that it's to the right.
Yeah, I'm hoping it's to the right. But so I choose those 3 characters. But if, someone who's watching wants to come try a triple finish run, you can choose any 3 characters. So, if maybe for you prefer Tote, who has more of a deck builder style, or Pochette, who has little pets that she has with her, like, you can play any 3 of the 5. You don't have to play these 3 characters. These are just the 3 characters I choose. Yeah, which I really like. Obviously, I like the just have to think while I move things around. Oh, it's in the row. Perfect. Yeah. Cool. Obviously, I like doing these characters. Sure, thanks. I like doing these specific characters and everything, but if you want to come join us, this is a really new category. Aria and I actually created it ourselves because all the other characters are with a single character, and I was like, yeah, but I want some more variety. I want more RNG in my roguelike game. So you know, the floor is still pretty wide open if you want to come do some triple finish runs and play with the different characters. Game's only $20 on Steam, and it's also available on Switch and like a couple of other places, I think. Hey, look, stairs.
Yeah. So. Yeah. So it's a very open category. We created it because we wanted something that would be useful, nice to be shown at a marathon. It was inspired by the Hades 3-weapon runs. And that was the inspiration that we had to try to like be able to show more of the game, right? We wanted to be able to give people what they, you know, a nice preview of what the game has to offer, because there's a lot to this game that and it's a lot of fun. I very much enjoy it. There is a story mode that we were thinking about. We might be trying to start routing soon. Yes. I've done some preliminary thought. It'd be much longer category, I feel.
Yeah.
But it is definitely, you know, there's lots of opportunities if you want to get into this game, if you don't mind the RNG and maybe your run not completing. Yeah. So are you just gonna leave right on for it anyway?
Yeah, because I'm being chased, I didn't get a chance to check this. So we're just gonna go to floor 9.
Yeah.
So floor 9, that means Satchel's costume bid war must close.
And you got the Grandmaster again, so that is convenient. Normally, we don't get this lucky with getting him. So we'll be, because of all the rage we'll be getting, again, similarly to when we had lots of rage from the first run, we will probably end up killing him before he manages to do anything at all. We are immune to the burn. Since we didn't have it, since you were immune to it last fight, I didn't explain it. Burn is a damage over time effect. It's a status effect, which means just like other status effects, it decreases by 1 each turn. But when it decreases, it provides that much damage to you automatically. So, you know, we were getting 5 burn this turn. If we don't defeat them, we will get, and then that means next turn we will take 5 damage automatically. The only nice thing about burn is that it applies before shield. Yeah, so it applies to shield first. So your block will go down by your burn amount. There's another damage over time effect called poison, and poison bypasses your shield, just kind of goes straight to your health. It is much more scary, but we luckily didn't run into that as far as I can tell in this one.
Yeah, I think maybe we got it once.
Right. So we are able to, again, quickly get through that. We already have 29 rage, and we have 96 block, so we are going to be perfectly fine with this fight, even if he manages to get a single turn in.
Yep.
He's not going to get a turn in.
So I am going to ask for the results for Satchel's costume bid war.
That would be the standard Robin costume was the winner for that one.
And again,
Thank
you to everyone who donated for those costume bid wars.
Yes, thank you. Especially it took all of it probably have taken all of 2 seconds for me to switch costumes, but this way I don't have to. And this way there's a lot more for you to explore as well if you want to come try this game yourself. Alright, so this is a bard.
Satchel is the bird bard, is how I call him. And his unique mechanic is, one of his unique mechanics is that he's the only character that can provide this status effect of charm. And charm, when you get their charm, they start switching sides. The enemy switches sides. If their charm value equal to or greater than their hit points, they go into your side. And when all the encounter is charmed, they run away, and you get the XP normally, but you don't have to fight them. While they're on your side, they do whatever they were going to do to you, they do to the enemy instead. Again, it protects you from that thing. It gives you extra friends. Satchel is the make friends not war type of animal, at least sometimes.
Most of the time.
He does have unique weapons as well, but normally when we do the Satchel runs, we go with charm. charm build, most of his items support that pretty well, and having that additional enemies on your side gives you kind of that scaling damage without having to worry about rage, which is the nice thing about it. So we generally try to use that for our encounters. We use that. We start with that flute. The other thing about Satchel that's weird, just like Crate, you get those random 4 pieces, the 4 Tetronymus. However, unlike Crate, they do not have to be contiguous. They don't have to be connected.
As you might have noticed.
What this means for him is, they call it mechanic called pockets, and certain of Satchel's items will do different things depending, like, in relationship to their pockets. Those boots, for example, they provide armor bonus for a pocket above it. Not just spaces like normal boots would do or the helmet does for below, it's for pockets above it. So, if you have more unique pockets, and we have different type of weapons that do all different things for that mechanic as well. Like, similarly with those gloves are for pockets to the right of it. The other thing, there are 2 types of weapons, 2 types of items that will provide charm. There are the instruments, like the flute that we start with. Those are just like any other item. You use them. They might cost energy, or they might be free, but you use them and they will provide their effect, usually adding charm. The triangle is the most common of the drum type weapons. And the way the drums work is once you use them, however they get activated, they will continue doing their effect for the rest of the combat. So on turn 1, you have to use some energy to use it, but after that, they just provide the extra charm automatically. So it will help us with dealing with additional enemies in that sense. In general, we try to make more pockets because it's almost always better to have more pockets with Crate items. The downside is obviously if we get a big item, we just literally can't place it. Like, if we got another shirt, we have no other place to place it.
Yeah, like I had to get rid of my shield in order to take the shirt.
Right. So it is one of the downsides of doing the high pocket build, but it's generally worth it in the long run because, he has much more common items that have those pockets for us. You're gonna
it's slow. I'm gonna wait.
You're gonna wait a little bit, yeah. So
yeah, see.
So there is a forward slot, as we saw, to add charm to an item, to a weapon, to an instrument rather, which obviously is good because doing more charm is better. It's the only really enhancement to instruments that we generally want to take. There is also add damage to it, but that just adds some risk. So we generally don't add it. The reason why Nade didn't just add it to the flute is because we're hoping to get something better.
Yeah, it's not likely, but I'm hopeful.
Yeah, so probably we'll be going back to that forge, which is, again, going to take a little bit slower, but the goal is it will end up being worth it in the long run to do that, is the hope that Nade is dealing with.
Yeah, that's the hope.
And as you can see, with enemies that heal, they will heal you as well, and they will add their block to you if they're doing some positive, like that mage. But it also means if they heal enemies that are charmed, then their charm value might get higher than their current hit points. So we end up with, as you saw there, they kind of switch back and forth.
I mean, that is a better...
I think you can add it to both.
Yeah, I have enough for both.
Yeah, so that harp is nice because it will, just like the drums, it will automatically use its thing every turn. Every turn will just add, I think it adds charm to everybody too.
Yes.
So it is nice so that it will kind of offset the decay, the normal decay of charm effect. So we have, and it counts as an instrument, unlike the drums don't. So we couldn't add a charm to the triangles. There are no forge bonuses for drums, as far as I'm aware.
Yeah, I don't think so.
But so we have the extra bonus from the harp every turn. and the guitar is only once per turn, but it doesn't cost any energy. So we're doing pretty well with our charm build so far. We're able to charm a bunch of enemies. And the nice thing about charm is that it will provide it doesn't trigger a lot of the things that normally might make the enemies more scary. Sometimes a lot of enemies will do more things for damage if they take damage or they get attacked and stuff like that. And charm, if they're a charming build, that doesn't apply. So that is one of the nice things why we kind of go with charm frequently, especially if we can get a lot of these automatic. We can get a lot of drums and harps. So we're just doing damage automatically, doing charm automatically, getting more people on our side, and making lots of friends, right? We're not killing anybody this run. I don't think we've killed anybody yet, right?
I think one died, but we weren't the one who killed them.
Okay. Yeah.
So, take that how you will.
Yeah. So,
oops. I messed up. That's fine.
Yeah. So we're gonna take some damage, but not too bad. Because of that crossbow in the back.
Yeah. I forgot. There we go.
But we're still making friends. All of our people are. It is very nice that, you know, this is one of those, you know, kind GMs who still gives a reward for if you talk your way out of the encounter too.
Nope, I'm gonna ignore it.
Yeah.
RNG, let's ignore the forge, because I'd have to go through a fight.
Right. Again, we try to avoid fights whenever possible, because fights are slow. Fights are the slowest thing. Minimizing fights is one of the strategies. The other thing that's one of the strategies that we use in general is understanding the map, how the map generation process works. It's kind of I can't tell you exactly what the strategies are, but there is a certain feel like, okay, this is where we think most likely the stairs are going to be, the way the maps are generally created, and knowing that difference is a good way to maximize or minimize the amount of fights you're going to do. So I'm going to take a drink of water. Any other announcements?
Yellow. So, just a reminder to everyone that we are raising money for Little Warriors. And Little Warriors is a national charitable organization focused on the awareness, prevention, and treatment of child sexual abuse. They also advocate on behalf of and with child sexual abuse survivors. So for more information, visit littlewarriors.ca or type !info in chat. It's an absolutely fantastic cause, chat. So make sure you keep your donations coming in. We are almost at 600 Canadian dollars. So can we see that before the day ends?
I believe in you, chat. And we haven't had any deaths or resets, but we'll still donate even if we don't, I promise.
This one has been very kind to us.
Yeah. Of course, now that I said it, watch.
Yeah. So, I did notice that there was a energy bonus on one of in the forge here, but we don't. Unfortunately, we don't have gold to actually get it yet. Hopefully, by the end of this floor, we will get the 40 gold we require to do that. I think it's likely, and we do have a rare item to sell.
Yeah.
And we do have the gold plus. So even if we get just one more gold, I think we have enough because there's that plus 5 gold.
So what did I say about we haven't died yet? I didn't say anything, right? Oh no.
You have the shield. You do have the sun shield.
I do. We're fine. Hey chat, could I get your bless emotes, please? Okay, we survived.
We have 2 hit points.
And 4. Yeah, we're in trouble.
We have the regen wand.
I know. We're still in trouble.
Yeah.
It's fine. I'm fine. Everyone's fine. I'm still gonna sell it though. Yes, I know how dangerous that is.
You don't have
that's the
milestone one. So we have 2 hit points. This is a little bit scary.
So I might end up resetting this one. Hopefully not.
Yeah. You got this. Actually, you can buy that that mana, the plus hit points thing. You sell like one of the common items. Do it. You have 2 hit points.
Yeah, but it all it does is add max hit points. It's not like it's...
Okay, maybe not worth it, yeah.
Fine.
I think it adds current hit points too.
Oh, maybe. Yeah.
It's not much. It's not much.
Well...
Oof. Well, we'll see. This will be a... It does not. Oh, that's energy.
Well, no, it adds energy because I have the thing that, well, once per turn when something gets destroyed.
Oh, right, yeah.
Which is why I'm going to wait. And I'm going to use this.
Okay, we have some hit points, and we have a little bit of a badger.
Maybe?
Yeah.
This is me on the edge of your seat, like, oh no, yeah, we might be resetting.
Yeah, I don't see this one succeeding. This is gonna kill us.
Yep, it's gonna kill us. Alright, well...
I shouldn't have spoke too soon. Yeah, and there's no way you could...
that's what we get. So we're just gonna start over. And that's $25. So unfortunately, this is part of this game. I was doing so well too. But this is part of this game, so part of the triple finish allows for deaths and retryings of characters because it's expected, unfortunately.
Obviously, that's slow.
Yes, it's much slower. A PB is going to not have any of that, but...
Which is another reason to take different characters. If you're more reliable with one character, even if it's slower, it is better. Which is
why I do crate. Is for me, crate is extremely reliable. Oh, okay, no, we're good. We're good. Got scared for a second. For me, crate is extremely reliable, even though he's a little bit of a slow sometimes.
Yeah, so that is the kind of one of the things you have to think about as you're moving through the encounters is what is the you're moving as you're choosing your route, and Anade, that's one, like I said, Anade takes the crate. I've been experimenting with using Pochette for my thing. I have submitted one, it hasn't been approved yet, but I did use these 3 characters just because I wanted to try it out. But it's something to play with if you want to get into running this game. But yeah, so as we've seen a lot of this before, there's not much more to say. Is there any announcements?
I think I might be able to rustle something up. Unfortunate with the death, but obviously a game of this nature, these things are going to happen. So, but good on you for persevering. We will see the end of this run, I'm sure. We do have a bid war open for not the next run. The next run is coming up, obviously after this one. That's how the next run happens. It's kind of the order of things. That's Cavern of Dreams. But after Cavern of Dreams, we have got Little Gator Game, and there is a bid war to select Little Gator's name. So if you've got a great name for an alligator, then you need to get your donation in. As long as it's under 15 characters, you can have anything your heart desires. So keep those donations coming in. Let's hit $600 and let's keep giving our energy to Anade for this run. Chat has been giving their energy quite positively.
This is one of those encounters that is not right to do.
It's not worth it.
It's generally not worth it, but Anade's other speed game is Peggle, so they can't resist when they see it most of the time. It's a pachinko game, right? You gotta get the thing. It's nothing that crazy, but it is definitely it definitely is slow and unreliable to get the item you want. But at least you know what items are possible, and so you can at least know what the risk is.
To be fair, I am fairly good at reliably getting the item that I plan to get.
Yes. Which is true, which is again why Cincinnati's other speed game is Peggle.
Well, my first speed game.
First speed game is
I haven't
Peggle.
done it recently, but...
Yeah.
It's uncommon. It's not really worth it. Okay.
So...
Oh no.
The other unique type of weapons that are on Satchel's run are these hammers. Hammers are very interesting because they are kind of like the shivs that you start with. They can be used once per turn. They cause 0 energy, but what makes them kind of unique is that they provide a bonus to hammers that are 2 spaces away, and that is 2 spaces even if they're in different pockets. So one of the advantages, because they can be in different pockets. So because we have 2 of them, then now they're boosting each other, giving them a little bit of bonus damage. We don't generally go with hammers for Satchel, because
really quick before we go, this guy is 3 mice in a suit. Normally, if you fight him, he'll fall apart and you have to fight the mice individually. But we just made friends with him, so he walked off, and we don't get to see them come out.
Yes.
All right, sorry. Please continue.
Right. So it relies on getting a specific item, which is getting lots of this type of item, right? Lots of hammers. When you get lots of hammers, then it works out to your advantage, and that's what we don't normally have that luxury. We did just get a really nice item for that. That's the core. I'm sure I got this right.
Yes.
That's the one that. So that relic that we just picked up is at the end of every combat, we get to choose one of the common items in inventory and duplicate it.
Yes.
Which is very good. We generally get there are a lot of common items that are very good to have lots of them. The 2 options, obviously, the hammers are one option, and also the shiv that we start with. This feather shiv, it does extra damage for every shiv in a different pocket. So since we got that on floor 3, we can get lots of shivs. I'm assuming that's what you're going to be using it on?
Yeah.
Rather than the hammers?
That is my goal.
Yeah. So we'll probably end up replacing all of those hammers with shivs, and we'll be doing lots of damage very quickly. Every fight, we'll be doing more and more damage with our shivs. So we probably will be doing less charm. It'll be a less charming run this time. It is a little bit slower than using a charm run, because a pure charm run at least, because having to move your mouse around your entire backpack is slow. That's again one of the reasons why we want to maximize minimize the number of weapons we have. We want to use as much. We want to basically use all our energy on one item if we can. But because of getting that coral is very lucky on this early of the run. So we will be duplicating those shivs frequently. We probably will end up replacing all of the hammers because they will quickly outpace. The shivs will quickly outpace the hammers.
Yes.
Now we have.
We might actually do a rage.
Yeah, because now you're doing a damage run.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the rages that we can add here is obviously a little bit going to be less. We only can add 1 rage per shiv, I think. They only have 1 forward slots. So we will need to get a second, and since we only use it once per turn, it's not going to be as scaling of damage as we would like.
Yeah.
But it's still +1 damage to all of the shivs we have, and we're going to have lots of shivs, so it will be good, and hopefully we'll be lucky enough and get something else that will give us rage, that we will be able to at least keep the rage between turns. This little bomb crab, we've seen it before, but we never really used it, never really done anything with it. It does nothing for 2 turns, and then it explodes and does lots of damage. And so that's really nice, because it will do that damage. Well,
it would have.
We had been. What did we do? Oh wait, we had the
I had a
poison
one-time
poison thing. Yeah. So poison, as I said, poison is just like burn, in that it will do damage over time, and apply before shield, and it will actually, the game is really nice. It will tell you if the poison will kill it during its turn, so you can just ignore it if that's the case.
With some exceptions, sometimes, like if an enemy gets healed, it messes with hit points.
Yeah. If it gets healed before it would die, 2 more hammers.
Okay, hang on.
So the reason why hammers is not as preferable in general to the shivs is because you have to much more position independent. Yeah, like we have those 4 hammers, but they're not. We don't have a nice like spot where we can put all 4 hammers in a square to make them all attack each other, and they kind of are competing usefulness. You want a big backpack for the hammers, and you want lots of backpacks for the shivs. So,
yeah,
Anada's gonna have to make a decision on this next fight whether they want to continue going with the hammers or go with the shivs.
Probably shivs.
Still go with the shivs.
Yeah, most likely.
Again, because it's less thinking.
Yeah.
And thinking is the slowest thing you can do in this game.
It is.
The biggest time waster is using your brain. Tell that, but stay in school, kids. So you're gonna duplicate the shivs? Yeah. So the other,
Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah. So because the shivs work with multiple pockets, we want lots of small pockets where we can put all these shivs in. Oh, perfect. So that bonsai tree is the first item that we've gotten that has actually that will add mana during combat. So every round that there is no mana attached to that fig that the bonsai, it will add, I think, 1 or 2 mana. 1 mana. So we want to make sure we always have at least 1 mana attached to it. But if we do, then it will, allow us to use that wand every turn. And that wand provides regen, which is a nice healing thing. So give us a little bit more of a bonus. I think each time you use the wand, it gets 2 regen. So we will hopefully not run into the same problem. We have a little more safety this time with having both a shield that we can use regularly and all of the regen.
Yeah, and healing, and we're doing lots of damage. And...
Yeah. Yeah, so.
I mean, sure.
So yeah, another backpack, another pouch, which not a super useful thing because again we don't. But we're hoping to get at least 1 more bit of rage. Yeah. From an anvil.
I'm just kind of gathering things to sell with the hope that the anvil, because there is 1 anvil on every floor past the first floor. So there will be an anvil over here somewhere, because we haven't seen it yet.
But it might not have anything useful, and so we will be seeing that even if because we're not using any energy on any of the weapons, we still will take advantage of the charm bonus from the flute, most likely.
Yeah. Like this.
Yeah, the flute is still helpful. We are still charming things. but it will end up being.
Some things around. To get the most benefit.
Yeah, we want these shivs in as many pockets as possible. Now we have a shiv in every pocket at this point.
Yeah. It's full.
Yeah.
But that's fine. We're doing pretty good for. You
don't need healing.
Yeah.
So that bandage provides healing at the end of every combat.
It's what I get.
But because we have the regen wand and the perm, we basically have lots and lots of healing. We got a shiv. But
I think we're at the point of selling this.
You don't want more shivs?
No, we don't need more shivs at this point.
Oh, I think you should have more shivs.
I mean, I can get rid of all these hammers. These hammers are useless. So
yeah.
You know what? Let's get more shivs.
Yeah. Yeah, more shivs. So yeah, we have these keys. There are locked chests. We saw some before, but the likelihood in a speedrun of getting a key and a locked chest in the same run is pretty rare. Because we have the backpack, we now have the ability to hold on to these keys without having taken too much space. So we'll see if we get one. It'll be nice, but it's not a guarantee. So many energy, so many things you're doing per turn.
Yep.
And because we have the rage on the one, we have to make sure we use that one first.
Yep.
And just sell it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, we have lots of shivs. We're on floor 6. We're doing. Are you gonna go to the Frozen Heart?
I'm tempted.
So the decision that I'm trying to make now is there's every 3 floors there are 2 different biomes you can go to. They have different types of enemies in each of the biomes. We tend to stick to the same biomes each time. The other ones that we go to are slightly harder. They have slightly harder enemies in them in general, but sometimes but except for the last 3 floors, the Frozen Heart versus the Magma Core, Frozen Heart is slightly harder, but mostly because it has things that you need specific build steps for. A lot bigger groups tend to be in the Frozen Heart, and they have things that will make it a little bit more dangerous in that way. But we tend to, because we have lots of these shivs, we can do damage to groups better. So that was what Anade was kind of considering.
I decided to go the safe way. Well, relatively safe. There's never anything safe, but
yeah. The nice thing about the Frozen Heart is the biggest advantage to doing the Frozen Heart is that the final floor 9 bosses on the Frozen Heart are both slightly easier than the harder one that we haven't seen yet.
Yes.
So that's why we sometimes will go to it, even though it does, like, the individual floors will be harder, but we have a better chance of getting a nicer, something nicer at the end. He's gonna sell a lot of things.
Yeah. Obviously, I have probably too much gold at this point, but just in case... Nah. We have one more floor.
Yeah, but because you have lots of shivs, you want to apply the rage to as many of them as possible.
Yeah, so having just lots and lots and lots of gold is a good thing.
Yeah. So yeah, we have so many. We are sitting pretty safe. I feel much more confident about this run.
Yeah, this one's probably fine. I mean, my shivs are doing 22 damage each. Each shiv is currently doing 22 damage. So I think I'm probably okay.
Yeah.
I want to duplicate.
You can accidentally duplicate the hazards,
Yeah,
and then they will go at the end of the turn.
and it would make me sad. So I'm going to try not to do that.
Yeah, it would be just a waste of a thing. Yeah, we are hopefully going to get through this last floor, very quickly, and maybe we will see the other final boss, but hopefully we don't.
Yeah, King is the other final boss, and for Satchel is one of the less scary, because he summons a lot of things, and in summoning things, he I'm just gonna grab this. Fingers crossed.
Yeah.
Yes. All right, we're going to rage up a lot of this.
Yes, we have.
But in summoning things with Satchel, if we're doing, our charm build, we can
Get a lot of allies.
yeah, get a lot of allies. He's still scary, so I'm going for the.
Yeah,
At this point, we have what we need. We are going. We're broke.
Yeah.
We're running.
Yeah, and we're getting 6 rage per turn now.
Yeah, I'm gonna actually just kill these probably in the first turn. Yeah.
I think now it's time to get rid of the. No, you can get one more shiv, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, and you have one more fight. Perfect. So, especially once we have the triangles there. That's using up the our energy on turn 1, which we don't really need.
No. Did it?
I don't know what happened.
I don't know. Oh no! It misclicked away. Oh well, it's fine.
Yeah.
Oh no. Okay, I got it.
You don't need the health.
That's true. I have this. So.
Yeah.
All right. Let's go.
Yeah.
Floor 9 on Satchel. Be barely overestimate because of the reset at floor 6. And Grandmaster! Alright.
Yeah, so we didn't get to see King. There is lots to this game. One thing is, Anade is just zooming through, not looking at, really reading anything, because they know these items like the back of their hand at this point. But one thing I will say, this game is very casual friendly. It is a lot of things going on, but everything about the game is very well explained through the iconography and the text of the game. Everything, there's an encyclopedia to help you understand all the mechanics. It is very easy to learn, so do not feel intimidated by this, by how complicated everything is here. Again, we have enough rage that we probably end up going to defeat the Grandmaster before they do anything at all.
Time coming up in just a second. Of course. And time. Alright. Well, I know I was very slightly overestimate. I just want to say there is so much more. There's, of course, the story mode we didn't touch at all. There are also, you might have seen, lots and lots of different types of modes. There is so much to this game, and obviously I really enjoy it. I think it's fun. You can, if you go to our SRC page, there is a Discord. I think that goes to the speedrun Discord. I still don't stream very frequently, but every once in a while you can come check me out. Arya may eventually stream.
Yeah, that's the idea.
Twitch.tv/TrainerAnade, and I can always let you know if Arya streams. She's pretty frequently on my stream.
Yeah.
Thank y'all for being here. Thank you for the blesses, especially when we had that rough floor 6. Keep donating towards the amazing cause of Little Warriors. Y'all are awesome. Keep it up.
A very, very cute run. Thank you so much for showcasing that. We will be going to a break very, very shortly, folks. Obviously, keep your donations coming in for Little Warriors, and we'll be back with another game in just a few minutes. Hello, chat. You are watching Prevent-A-Thon 4. We are getting the next run, Cavern of Dreams, ready to go. Sadly for me, this is the end of my hosting block for the marathon. I had a short block yesterday, short block today. It's been a lot of fun chatting with our runners and supporting Little Warriors. I'll be around in the background doing techie stuff over the next couple of days, but I'm going to leave you in the very capable hands of Cell. So have fun, keep those donations coming in, and remember to go fast.